my worry is these policies, they often vilify Muslims in general, but the ones they hit the most are the ones who are socioeconomically vulnerable, the ones who do not have citizenship, the ones who are more recent migrants or asylum seekers. This won't come out in the policies themselves. They have to adhere to the Danish constitution, which says that you can't discriminate against religious minorities, but it will come out in different ways. So instead of saying Muslims, the politicians will then write non-Westerners in policy documents and in legislation. There's also a counter narrative within society that celebrates the good ones. The good Muslims are the ones who are well-educated, have a good position, and we want to keep them. We want to do everything we can do to keep them. You see that in political rhetoric as well. Oh, there's a difference between Muslims. They're the good ones, and we want to do everything we can to celebrate the doctors and engineers and all of that amongst them. And then there's the bad ones, and we got to do everything we can to make sure they don't come into the country in the first place. And when they're here, try to make it as difficult as possible. I think this is really problematic. I think people such as myself, whose families lived in Denmark for half a century, I think it's problematic that we're still talking about integration as the politicians talk about, because they can't accept the fact that Muslims are a part of Danish society, very much part of the Danish landscape and history. You know, many of us have families who came back in the 60s, which is over half a century ago. And then you have this idea of wanting to go back to some sort of pure Danish nation, which I think is the problem, the essential problem here. There's different ways of experiencing discrimination in Denmark as a Muslim. There's the everyday life where you can get experience microaggressions where people may kind of question your belonging to Denmark and Danish society. That's one part of it, like where Islamophobia is expressed. Another way of expressing it is actual hate, violence on the streets. We've seen an increase of hate crimes against Muslims in recent years, and there's been some attention to that also from political side in Denmark. And then you have a different level of discrimination, which is much more structural, which is based in policies, where as a Muslim, as someone from a Muslim majority country, you have harder access to housing, jobs.